corroded MPU from a WMS TriZone. And you can see I've had to remove the 5101, and this is probably a 7404 up here. And I've already redone the headers, and I got to do this 40-pin interconnect yet. But you can see what's involved here is you got to sand this all the way down to the bare copper, which I've done. And this one's dried out in the sun. I also replaced one of the IC sockets there. The other ones are okay. And here's the driver board. And typically these don't get this corroded, but this one sure did. So the 6821 there, all those 4.7K resistors, the female header, and there's another resistor over here that needs to be replaced. And then I will do all these headers around here, and probably these 27 ohm current limiting resistors here are pretty toasty. This is what's involved. It takes a lot longer to get it done when it's done on these boards. And what I like about these boards versus the modern reproductions are, look how fat those traces are on there. Really easy to work with. And even if you lose a solder pad like that on this side, there's still a solder pad on the other side that I can work with easily. WMS TriZone MPU and driver board, and it came in inoperative, had a number of different problems with it. The 6810 here had failed, the game ROM had failed, there was corrosion throughout this whole area right here, so you can see where I've abated the corrosion. You sand that to bare copper, you repair traces as necessary, you conformal coat it so it won't corrode anymore, and then you put it all back together. Also, the driver board experienced quite a bit of corrosion too. It was almost like a half moon of corrosion. Took out this 6821, which I replaced. Of course, I would have replaced these headers anyway, but they're a corroded mess, so I took care of those also. Added a LED to indicate blanking. On this board, the 27 ohm current limiting resistors here were really roasty toasty, so I replaced those with some nice sand resistors. Replaced the 5 volt input capacitor here, and on the MPU board also. Replace sockets as necessary right here. Those are the only 3 you really need to replace. And replaced all the headers all the way around. You can try to reflow those headers, but the way that WMS trimmed those things off, it's just never going to be a good solid connection. Those round pins kind of stink anyway. So this board set is better than when it was released from the factory by virtue of the square pins versus the round pins. So let's take it through its test. You can see it's booted up and the lamp matrix is doing its thing. The only solenoid coil that's on is a coin lockout coil. First test is display test. And that's working fine. Next test is lamp test. This little jewel comes from Siegecraft, a nice little tester. And the next test is solenoid test. Nine. I've got a blue and a green one in there for for testing system 11 boards. That's the AC select relay, and it's going through the special solenoids right now. So that is all working properly. And let's see, the next test is switch test. So I will use my Pennytech switch test simulator here and go through everything in column 1, which proves that all the rows are working. And then I will go up to the last switch on TriZone, which is switch 35. And that proves all of the columns are working. And the next test is, it's back into the audits, so I have to reboot it. And we're back in business again. this board set is good to go. I thank you so much. I'll add a label here to indicate what that LED means, but when it's on, it means the blanking signal is what it's supposed to be, and all is well. Thanks so much for sending it.